The tiny start of our big universe. There was a point. A very, very small point. It was so small, we cannot see it. It was much smaller than a dot. Much smaller than a grain of sand. This point was everything. It was all there was. There was no space. There was no time. Just this small point. This point was very hot. So hot. The hottest place you can imagine. Much hotter than the sun. Much hotter than fire. It was all hot. Everything inside was hot. The small point was full of heat. Extreme heat. This heat was everywhere in this tiny point. Then, something happened. A big event. A start. The point began to grow. It grew very, very fast. This was the Big Bang. It was not a bang like a sound. It was a bang like a big beginning. A very fast beginning. The point was not a point anymore. It became bigger. The universe began. The universe was very young. It was a baby universe. It grew and grew, like a balloon filling with air. It got bigger and bigger. Space began to form. Time began to form. Before, there was no time. Now, time was moving forward. The universe was still very hot. But as it grew, it became a little less hot. It was like a big room. If you make the room bigger, the heat spreads out. So, the universe was still hot, but not as hot as the start. It was cooling down. Slowly, slowly. In this hot, growing universe there were many things. Not stars. Not planets. Just very small particles. These were the smallest parts of everything. Like tiny, tiny pieces. They moved very fast. They were everywhere. They were too hot to stick together. They flew around. The universe kept growing. It kept cooling. A little more cold. Now, the particles could start to meet. They could start to join together. Like tiny magnets. They were still moving fast, but not too fast to join. They made new things. These new things were atoms. The first atoms were very simple. They were light atoms, like hydrogen and helium. These are simple gases. Many, many hydrogen atoms. Many, many helium atoms. These were the main ingredients of the universe. They were the building blocks. The universe was now full of these atoms. It was very big, but it was still very dark. There were no stars yet. No light. Imagine a very big, empty room. Full of gas, but no lamps, no windows, just dark. This was the dark age of the universe. Long, long time ago. The atoms floated in space. They were pulled together by a force called gravity. Gravity is like a pull. It pulls things together, like the earth pulls us down. So, the atoms started to make clouds. Big clouds of gas. Very big clouds. These clouds of gas got denser. They got thicker. More and more atoms came together. In the middle of these clouds, the pressure grew. The heat grew. It got very, very hot again. So hot that something new happened. Something amazing. The middle of the clouds became so hot, they started to glow. They started to shine. This was the birth of the first stars. The first stars were very big, very bright, and very hot. They were like giant light bulbs in the dark universe. They made light. The universe was not dark anymore. It had light. Many, many stars formed. They lit up the space. Each star was like a tiny sun. They were far away, but together they made the universe bright. The stars were everywhere. Many stars came together. They formed groups. These groups of stars are called galaxies. A galaxy is a big home for many, many stars. Our sun lives in a galaxy. These galaxies were like islands of light in the vast space. They spun around. These first stars were very special. They were like factories. Inside them, the simple atoms change. The hydrogen and helium turned into new elements. Heavier elements, like carbon, and oxygen, and iron. These are things we know on Earth. These stars lived a long time. But not forever. Some of them were very big and lived fast. When they died, they made a big explosion. A supernova. This was like another big bang for that star. It was very bright. It spread all the new elements out into space. So, the space got new materials. It got the carbon, the oxygen, the iron. These were the ingredients for making new things. For making planets. For making life. The universe was getting richer. It had more kinds of atoms. More kinds of elements. New clouds formed. But these new clouds had the new, heavier elements. Not just hydrogen and helium. These clouds also got dense. They also got hot. New stars formed. These were second-generation stars. Our sun is one of these. Around these new stars, something else happened. The extra dust and gas that did not go into the star, it spun around. It spun in a flat disk. Like a pancake. In this disk, small pieces started to stick together. Like snowballs in space. These small pieces grew bigger. They crashed into each other. They stuck together. They made rocks. Then bigger rocks. Then very big rocks. They kept growing and growing. This was how planets formed. Slowly, over a very, very long time. Our Earth formed this way. Around our Sun. Our Sun is a medium-sized star. It is not too big. Not too small. It is not too hot. Not too cold. It is just right for life. Our Earth formed from the dust and gas that was left over from the Sun's birth. When Earth first formed, it was very hot. Like a ball of liquid rock. It was molten. It was boiling. It had no air like today. No water. It was a harsh place. It was very young. It was changing fast. Cooling down. Over millions of years, the Earth cooled. The surface became hard rock. Volcanoes erupted. Many, many volcanoes. They let out gases. These gases made the first atmosphere around Earth. This atmosphere was not good for us now. But it was a start. Then, something special happened. Water came to Earth. Maybe from comets. Maybe from inside Earth. But water came. It filled the low places. It made the first oceans. The oceans were a special place. They were calm. They were warm. In these warm oceans, something even more special happened. Simple life began. Very, very small life. Microbes. Tiny, tiny living things. So small you cannot see them without special tools. This was the start of life on Earth. A long, long time ago. This life was very simple. But it grew. It changed. Over billions of years, this life became more complex. It learned to use the sun's light. It made oxygen. The oxygen went into the air. This made the air good for animals to breathe. Then came plants. Then came animals. Many, many kinds of life. In the water. On the land. In the air. Big animals. Small animals. From the smallest microbe to the largest whale. All of this life came from that tiny point. Our universe is very big now. It is still growing. It is still expanding. It has many, many galaxies. Many, many stars. Many, many planets. And on one planet, Earth, there is life. And we are here, looking at the stars, thinking about the start. All of us, everything we see, everything we know. The mountains, the oceans, the trees, the animals, our own bodies, all made of atoms. These atoms were made in stars. The stars formed from the gas of the early universe. The early universe started from that tiny point. So, the story of the universe is our story. It is the story of everything. From a tiny start, to a big, amazing, living universe. It is a very long story. But it began with a big bang. A start that made everything. A start that made us. Everything is connected. All from that first hot point.